Okay, let's try this again. So, guys, today's subject, genocide. I remember when I was in DC and I went to the Holocaust Museum, and we looked on the section at Woods. Woods, I think. I don't remember exactly how to pronounce it. But essentially, all my friends were pronouncing it as Lodz, and I just went up to him and was like, no, it's Woods, and that's the only Polish knowledge I ever got to use in the real world. And then I started learning Czech. Anyways, we were looking at the total um, casualties of the Holocaust, and it was about 6 million. And I just pointed out to my friends, like, that was the population. That's the population of Minnesota. Minnesota population 5.793 million. Imagine if the entire population of Minnesota just disappeared. Yeah, Hitler was bad. You know, I feel like people know that, but like, fuck Hitler. Anyways, next subject, slavery. I don't really have much on that. Slavery's not gone. It will continue. And if it's not slavery in name, we're wage slaves. Wage theft. Think about it. You used to be able to buy 6 Big Macs from working 1 hour at McDonald's. Okay? Now you can only buy 1 Big Mac from working an hour at McDonald's. Or two. Think about that. Like people are like, oh, there's no inflation. Yes, there is. A property that costed $8,000, even if you make up for inflation, $8,000 in like the 70s. It costs 1.4 million today. You know what $8,000 is in 1970? Like how much that was worth? $66,000. Even if you account for inflation, that is ridiculous. Anyways, next topic, taxes. Yeah, so the taxes in my area keep going up, especially taxes for the school district. But they're actively trying to fire employees. They're actively trying to penny pick. Um, like employees that are very well liked among students, and like they're having language classes in the area. Like they used to offer German, Spanish, French, all these languages. Now they just offer Spanish and French, and they're cutting Spanish in half and Spanish and French in half. Like it's stupid. And they're like, "Oh, we care about other cultures." No, you goddamn don't. The state of Minnesota no longer requires foreign language to be for a high school graduation. It's stupid. Ugh. All right, next topic. Chiropractor. Our chiropractor is amazing. Like everyone in my family has pretty bad problems, farmers and stuff. Um, our chiropractor is amazing. We just pay him with eggs. So he gets, 2 dozen eggs a week, and we get chiropractic care. It's great. The ATF is unconstitutional. They create laws by themselves and self-regulate their own rules, even though you should have that checks and balances. In the government, they don't have that. They were created to enforce the law, not to make the law. Shopping. Okay, so here you have it. You have the price. You have the price after taxes, and then you also have your credit card uh, charge if it's not enough for the credit card. And then if you go to Menards, like a real Midwesterner, you have what was I gonna say? Rebates. Then you have rebates. You have your 11% rebate, and there was some fucking postman who was stealing rebates from the from the mail. He would go in, he would take his little grubby hands, he would open up the letters before they got to Menards, and he would mail in the rebates himself. Ugh, That's like the worst crime you could commit as a Midwesterner. Potholes. We don't fill in potholes. There's like pothole here, pothole there. I like they will repair the most random place and they'll put a stoplight. They will spend hours working on the same place, and they just will ignore the potholes if it's not a main street, even though it like impacts how many people a day. They just don't care. Even if it's on a main street, they won't care. Um, Tutorial on how to do taxes interrupted by images of death camps, while you have the most boring and generic news channel you can find playing lightly in the background. How'd that get on my list? Anyways, JD Vance. So we have this edited image of JD Vance going towards the Pope, the old Pope, the one that's dead now. Um, it's an AI generated video of him going up to the Pope. And it's just like, I just died in your arms tonight. You know that song? Um, I can't find it. It was really fucking funny. Anyways, Epstein list. The Epstein list. I've found copies of it on Internet Archive, which I can't verify if they're real, and the government has recently acquired Internet Archive as a official federal library, so you know they're going to be wiping that stuff from there. The Epstein cell footage, I checked it myself. There are four modifications to the cell footage. It has a signature of being modified by an Adobe product, all while being claimed to be raw footage, not to mention the formatting change and the time skip. So yeah, it's obviously edited. Um, oh yeah, I should mention my dad had there was my dad's almost been mugged quite a few times, and he fought like armed people off with a screwdriver. That's pretty cool. Um, yeah. I had a script written out here that I was supposed to read out. Trump, Trump, Trump. We've seen that he didn't place his hand on the Bible during the inauguration. Religion's an important part of the American political system. Influences voters, even Christians, specifically voters. It really changes the way they think because some people think like, oh, we need to enforce laws, we need to be more conservative. Some people take that Christianity and say we need to be more generous. It really just depends on the person how they interpret Christianity. 60%, 62% of all American adults are Christian, while 40% of all Americans go to church at least monthly. Um, I've spilled some water on me. I think like I'm kind of part of that 40% that go uh, at least monthly. But yeah, for multiple months, I spent the entire church service suppressing tears because every sermon felt directed towards me because, I was figuring out, holy shit, I'm bi and like crap. And I was really repentant at the time and I was crying and begging God for forgiveness every service. Um, yeah, that was something. I'm better now. I'm actually happy and I want to live. I'll talk about that later. Um, the manhwa, I Love Amy, really helped me through it. It's a Korean comic, a yuri about about a yandere crushing over a shy girl, and it's really good, and it made me really happy. Um, yeah. Oh, speaking of Korea, did you know they have to have their shutter sounds enabled because to prevent upskirting and other non-consensual photos. It's that's also the same in Japan. Yeah, that's pretty disgusting. What else was I gonna say? Um, so let's check Twitter. What's the first thing I see on Twitter? Oh yeah, what I was saying earlier about the cost going up, but the wages staying the same or going down in um scale to each other and proportionally to each other. Um, yeah, that's called wage theft. Anyways, what's the first thing? What's the strongest fictional faction? The Combine. I don't know any of those other ones. Um, so the Regretivator dev devs are learning how to make games in Godot so they can make a standalone game outside of Roblox. I'm actually kind of considering like later on maybe transfer after War of Preservation transferring Taich to its own thing. Why does Spanish have a male and female version of the word pregnant? Embarazada, embarazado. Have you heard of like seahorses? Speaking of horses, um, two of my neighbors have horses. That's pretty cool. I just won. What the fuck? I won the game. Well, you all lost the game. Sorry. Um, we have temporarily deactivated some of your. Oh, that's a post from a tactical website that I've never bought from, but I follow on Twitter. Um, um, what am I thinking? Anyways, yeah. Never kill yourself. Like that's really bad. Um, so like what was the? I don't know if I want to tell this story, but like when your suicide's worst enemy is confidence. If you have confidence and you don't let yourself get weak, you won't. You'll never take that leap because it's really a thing where like even if you're like mildly suicidal, if something happens where you like just go off the edge for a little bit, you might keep going off that edge and you might off yourself. Um, but if you have that constant confidence, if you have something a little bit in your head stopping you, if you always have just a little barrier, something protecting you, you know, you're gonna be all right. And it always gets better in the end. I mean, like, um, I spent many, many nights crying over, figuring out myself, figuring out if God would accept me, if my parents would accept me, if my friends would accept me. My friends don't know except outside the queer ones, but does item? Yeah, it's just it's not something I like to look back on, like those feelings and think about those things, but it gave me a good. It gave me a good experience and it gave me good wisdom. So I know what exactly I'm doing, like, and I can give advice to other people. I can tell them, I can relate with how they're feeling. Not everyone, there's some people who just aren't the best and they're not in the same situation, like they actively want to die and the only reason that they don't is because other people are telling them to, contrary to some people who are just they don't want to die but their body keeps telling them to. I think there's some I don't have a scientific basis for this, but I think there's something to do with like this might be just correlational and not a direct causation, but like I feel like there might be some. You know how like baby birds will sometimes be weaned and left on their own because the parent doesn't seem to fit and they want to focus on the other children. I wonder if humans have that, and not in the parent way, but in the child way, and that the child just if the parent doesn't accept them, the parent doesn't care for them, that they just feel the need to die. I don't know if that's probably not the right way to put it. But yeah, let's look back at the list. So with Centara, so GK Trombley has been out lately. He's been gone, and so I'm just kind of thinking like, what was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? So as you may know, I finished like the Seaton rifle remake a year ago now. It's been animated for 7, 8 months, and he just hasn't had it. Yet when he got the Vegan rifle, um, he had that almost immediately. Not even for active use. Just oh, you can use it in private service now. Good sir, get what I got finished a year ago added. It's not even funny at this point, and I and like he responds to other people so quickly, and I genuinely feel like he's purposely not responding to me. Like he says, "Oh yeah, I want your work." I've given him an ultimatum. Like I've given an ultimatum before. Like tell me if you want my work. Tell me if you want me to help you, because if you don't, I'll stop. And it's like I've got done so much, yet he just ignores me. Like I don't know what I'm saying. And he'll respond to other people so quickly. He'll get back to other people so quickly, but ignores me. I feel like he's genuinely trying to add as least possible my stuff to the game. That sounds delusional, but that's how it feels because he just keeps ignoring everything that I do. And it's like he says, "Oh, I'm on hiatus." He does some work. He does some work on other things, but he just ignores me. There's things that are far more on the priority list that are mine, but he focuses on other people's stuff that like I don't mean to be mean, but like the Vegan rifle isn't that good of a model, and like why'd you rush to add it in the first place? Like I've been asking to do this remake for so long, and you just don't. I we remade the animations. Wait, no, we didn't. We didn't. Oh my goodness, I'm blanking. Yeah, okay, we. Never mind. We didn't remake the animations. There's just new animations on the Seaton Rifle remake, and it's just stop ignoring me. Like if it weren't for the fact I have so many obligations and I have the opportunity to maintain the game after it dies by adding new content that I got permission to, like, hey, can I do gun drops like unlockable guns to give the game a little more longevity? He was like, sure. And it's like I want to do that, but at the same time I want to quit so badly because he treats me like shit. I feel like he doesn't care, and it's like, don't go after him about this. I'm just venting because there's not really a spot to vent to. Like, I'm just getting this out. But yeah, one second. Like, genuinely, there's points where I just feel so emotional because I feel neglected pretty much. I don't know. I'm yapping about this too much, and I could just be delusional. He could actually value my work. And, like, I know I've been mean to him in the past, and I've apologized for it, but it's like, it was because, like, he was having me redo the same thing over and over and over again. And, I get annoyed about that. And that's the only time I've ever asked for payment. Like, I've been paid 7,000 Robux total for all of this. I have made, okay, you have the Seaton rifle, you have the work in progress TOE 5 and TOE 9 remakes. You have the three You have the three CG guns. You have the Bacon armor, which I've made like three variants for, but let's not count that. Actually, let's do count that because we're counting payment. Uh, like the four iterations of it. So that's another, three, four models. So I think we're at nine or 10 already. So let's say nine. Then you have the Vega and ATG. You have, jeez. You have the Vega and shotgun, that's 11. And then you have a few unlockable guns, which I volunteer to do, that which I actively want to do. Um, so, I've done 12 models or so. Let's just say 12 models. And, each of my I generally do a rate of like 20 bucks per. So I've done, $220 of work. If 220, $240 of work for what's worth, 7,000 Robux divided to 2,000 Robux is like $25. 7,000 divided by 2,000 times 25. I've gotten maybe paid maybe $90 or so for $220 worth of work. And let's just look at the industry standard real quick. I'm not saying you need this for Roblox, but I've done 12 models times. It takes me like 3.5 hours, and the average pay is like $35 an hour. $1,470 for. It's not, but I realize there's a lot of other people who have done work for a lot, who have worked a lot more, and they've still not asked for much payment. And I get that, but it's like I'm just setting an example. So there was actually there's actually names for the civilian guard weapons before. There's actually a lot of names for the civilian guard weapons before they got added in their current iteration. So, what you call the Albus, let me pull up the names I had for them. 3D Centaur 3D models, names. Yeah, I had the Albus was going to be named the Mars Rolling Block. All right. The the Barton was going to be named the Piva Bolt Breach, and the Decima was going to be named the Molder Over Under. So I think I said this to Duck, and I don't know if I ever clearly communicated enough. Let's go to the other chat. Cat Inc. Auxiliary Dev GC. Yeah. Okay, this was the conversation. I said, "Hey, big man, GK, why is it, let's see. That's not the first conversation. Where's, where is it? Um, I don't remember. I had, let's just go, let's go like, Mulder. That's the name I had for it. Yeah, so I had said like, big man, why is it too late to change the names? And he said, well, I already posted the lore stuff, and the descriptions are based on their names. And I said, so editor, you retcon my, it's how we retcon the names. And 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 he said, well, it's such a small thing, and everyone already has the names, current names stuck in their minds. Yeah, and there's problems of descriptions because they won't fit. So I said, so fix the descriptions. And, he said, oh, small things. And I said, it matters to me, the guy who modeled the guns, a lot more than anyone playing. It's a big deal for me because the names were little Easter eggs for my friends, and I can say, look, there's something for you. And I said, what were the names? And Abu, bless his soul, we don't have the best relation, but he's she, whatever, I can't remember, said the guns have been in game for like an hour. I don't remember the names of most guns that have been in the game for almost a year. And I said, what were the names? And he asked, what were the names? Moldor of Under, Mars Rolling Block, Daniel and Sons Bolt Breach, or it used to be the Piva Bolt Breach, but I also had named Daniel and Sons. That was a reference to a friend. And he said, do you want all of them to be replaced? And I said, yeah. And he said, can I keep the Albus? What's up with the Mars thing? And he said, what's up with the... And I said, Mars, my friend, Mars. And he said, I was gonna make lore posts on these gun companies, which he hasn't done. And I said, you can do like Barton Mulder or something. And he's like, oh, that's too hard because I thought of the names. Why can't we just say the names for future gun models? Which we haven't done. We could add more civilian guns and we can add more civilian guns to the shop. Which I have worked to, but we haven't done. I sat him down. Somehow out pistols, and I drew all those things. And every basically everyone kind of defended me, and yeah, we can change the names, but GK was against it. Um, so he just kind of look. I get it; it's your own game, but at the same time, at the time, I had not asked for payment. I had done quite a bit already, and you just kind of ignored it. Um, I'm gonna, I'm gonna, uh, what's the next topic? What am I thinking? The White House posted, "Game over. Deportations are ramping up." What the fuck? It's pixel art of like a plane taking off. That's stupid. What the fuck? Um. Anyways, wait. Did he say 19th or 19th? I thought he was gonna be back on the 17th. Motherfucker! I have to wait 4 more days. Come on. Keep in mind, he's responding to people during his leave of absence. Anyways, like, dude, I've been trying for so long to get stuff done, and you just won't let me get stuff done. Um, I'm gonna get in trouble for this, aren't I? You know, yapping about this. Um, how long have I been yapping? I've been yapping for like 30 minutes. Jeez. More like 25. Um, new message from Roblox or updated experience questionnaire. Maturity compliance questions. What are the new questions? I don't see what's new on here. Can't. Violence, blood, fear, crude humor, gambling, strong language, romantic themes, alcohol. Hell yeah, let's alcohol. Um, paid item trading. Um, content maturity moderation. I don't see what's new on here. Weird. Okay. Hmm. Deli. Assault with a deli weapon. Yeah, there's a guy who slapped a National Guard guy with with a Subway sandwich. He was charged with assault with a deli weapon. Oh yeah, and there's a whole Roblox thing, which everyone's been aware about for so long, and now the mainstream is finally getting aware of this. But let's sing a song for a nice little outro. That's a dog barking. Let's pull up my library of little songs. Girl, quiet. Hey, hey, nay, nay. I don't want to sing. I don't want to sing that. Okay, let's mute my desktop audio and let's go Core Blonde Devil's Best Dress. That's a good song. Devil's Best Dress lyrics. Alright. There is a woman. She lives in the West. If she's not the devil, then she wears best dress. She's quicker than lightning, with the iron on her hip. She's quicker than lightning, and they say she don't miss. I can't say I love you, I don't hardly know you. They warned me about you from the start. They said don't double... Ah! They said don't double cross every... Crap. Besides a pistol. Stop Rick Schofield, I think. Not that it matters when you're out drawing at a blink. She builds her own cartridge. It's a wild-catted load with the wad-cutting bullet for a blood-letting wound. I can't say I love you, I don't hardly know you. They warned me about you from the start. They said don't you cross her if you don't want a hole in your heart. Oh, there is a woman, she lives in the West. She's not the devil, then she wears his best dress. I can't say I love you, I don't hardly know you. They warned me about you from the start. They said don't double cross her if you don't want a hole in your heart. There is a woman, she lives in the West. If she's not the devil, then she wears his best dress. Yeah, that wasn't the best. Screw it. Let's go for another one. I'm bored, and I'm gonna keep this going for as long as I can. Please listen to this all the way through. I need this watch time. That'd be nice. That's a disabled guy, and they're testing if he will sink or swim. In Mexico? Wow. Okay, let's try Subways of Your Mind. Subways. Subways of Your Mind. This is a good song. Oh, it was only found in 2024. I thought it was found in 2023. Boom! I keep thinking, oh, I just died in your eyes tonight. Anyways. Oh, it's not, hasn't started yet. Alright. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. Like the wind, you came here running to take the consequence of living. There's no space, no space. There's no tomorrow. What we need's communication. We can check it out, but the sun will never shine. Paranoid anyway in the subways of your mind. Like the wind going from somewhere. Let a smile be your companion. There's no place, no place for any sorrow. Time for young and restless dreamers. Check it in, check it out, but the sun will never shine. Paranoid anyway in the subways of your mind. Yeah, whatever. Um, Don't Fear the Reaper is a good song, and you kind of forget how much of it's about suicide. Yeah, back to suicide. Wow. Um, Will Smith is about to hit the stage, according to my Discord chat with friends. Wow. Um, um, no, 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 no. Um, let's just scroll through my Spotify playlist for a second and find a good. No, let's just. Okay, let's go to mixes. The Vicar of Barringtonville. Hmm. That's not what I want. Uh, let's do Demon's Banquet. I've been wanting to cover this. Oh, I forgot to go to the Will Stetson. Will Stetson. Alright, this is gonna take a few takes. That's not what I want. Which of the pickings? Which of the pickings shall we begin to eat? Something soaking up blood or something bittersweet? Nothing to do and the future's out of reach as we stumble along in cold reality. Snickering the voodoo will never. Voodoo? What the fuck? Oh! Okay, let's try this again. Which of the picking shall we begin to eat? Something soaking in blood or something bittersweet? Nothing to do and the future's out of reach as we stumble along in cold reality. Snickering the Buddha will never let me rest. Only those with patience will make it in the end. Devils dance hypnotically, begging to be fed. Take your time and cherish you, my dearest guest. Oh, tell what the jaws are lavished in the feast. Every piece will gorge in heavy greed. Taking a bite, go wild in the heat. While the moon in the skies compose a silver dream. So, oh, 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 da, da, do, da, da, do. Oh, bum, bum, dum, ba, da, dum, ba, da, 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 ba, da, dum, ba, da, dum, Ah, how many plans will I for it to pass? Paint it black, paint it white, we raise another flag. Make me a bed and I'll play a better hand. Life and death, dark and light, compose a fellow man. Crawling from the fire, the Buddha holds the thread. Nothing is decided, there's still a moment left. Screaming from hell is a voice of bloody red. Let's get lost in darkness and not come back again. Hotel with the jaws and lavish in the feast. So it seems, we won't be running free. Going insane, the laughter and the greed as we send our knives, a nightmare like a dream. Oh, yo, 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 come on, we're running faster. The skies are what we're after. Oh, yo, yeah, I can. No, I'm not doing this. I fucked up. Yeah. I did I had lyrics for Cruel Angel's Thesis cover a while ago, which was more of a parody. But let's see if I can sing this one Czech song that I like. Je ne pas nager. Is that how it's spelled? Ch Cherne. Here we go. Passager. Cerne. Cerne. Let's look up the lyrics for that. Oh God. Oh no. Plata. La 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 la. La 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 la. Sojedum ještě vidím, jak se guna. Vy tam do mě sprostěmný stůl, a tam moje radina. Let's try the refrain. Že stromy, které měly to snebí, když, whatever. La 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 la. La 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 la. Jsem černý, pasažerný, mám slí, ani směr, tak. I can't do that. Trabant is good though. What about the new Dreadnought song? Is there even lyrics to this yet? I'm Clastina. Ole. Hey, hey, bottom. Hey, hey, oh, there is a lemon tree. Oh, 2-click. I've only listened to the song like once. There's a lemon tree by the South Sea that stands as breath watches over me as I make my way through the dust and clay to a little street that boldly bears your name. You were a courier, hard messenger, beat on or pat on the floor. That's the way you fight. You took the lonely road, so I was told, and drove the signals out into the night. Drove the signals out into the night. But when I have my drums here, but no. But you came, and you learned your name. The writing was on the walls, left just the game. Now it was a bleeding then. So rise, my little angel, rise again. So rise, my angel, rise again. Oh, Stephanina, Cla- oh crap. Clandestina. Did you take you for the ones who did not believe you? Will be awaiting now at the bedroom. I tap the first of the wrist, tangerina. Boom, boom, boom. I cannot. Okay, anyways, now that we've done too much singing for my own good. Yeah, life. In life, there is Roblox.